Yo, what's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Freezing.
It's very cold out.
Very cold.
Yeah, took a little dip. We're about to get warmer.
Why?
It's supposed to get to the 50s by Christmas.
Woohoo!
Your favorite.
It's going to feel like summer in Chicago.
Hey, everybody out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. And we're about to get normal. We are smoking Cherries 2.1 that was bred by our friend Straight A Genetics, who we've had on the show multiple times, but it was grown by our friend Sam Wolf. Thank you, Sam. We appreciate it, because I have not had a chance to try anything from Mike Straight at Straight A Genetics. This is my first. I'm super stoked and excited to really try this strain called Cherries 2.1. And it was bred by Straight A Genetics. I don't have a ton of information, just more of the lineage I do. So Straight A Genetics, if he's been on our show on the grower, phenomenal. About to be a daddy too, which is awesome. So here's some of the lineage. Cherries 2.1 is an indica sativa variety from Straight A Genetics and can be cultivated indoors, where the plant will need flowering time of around 60 days. Straight A Genetics 2.1 is a THC dominant variety and is not available in feminized seeds. The flower time is 56 to 63 days. Medium heavy yields. Responds well to topping and training. With the mother-like, what is this one? OG Kush Breath and Cherrytopia. Carries the same serious potency and stress, relieving effects as its mother. The heavyweight has a gassy aroma with dank, earthy undertones and ripe cherry on the exhale. Cherries 2.1 provides an incredibly relaxing, heavy high that'll cause you to sink into the couch and forget all the stresses of the day.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I need that. I like not remembering any of the stresses of the day, job especially. So, how's it taste, Ms. Weeman?
It's very good.
Nice. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
So, we had a really fun Saturday. Where'd we go?
This past Saturday, we went to Stash Dispensary. They hosted a party with Legacy. Legacy, Illinois is a cultivation cannabis brand, and it was their event at the Stash facility, and it was called Holding It Down Underground. Oh, I'm sorry, Holding It Down for the Underground. They were referring it to as it. I can't even talk, and I'm like a second into the show.
You just started.
Right? Good. Here we go. They were referring to it as their Holiday Bash 23. So it was DJs, it was vendors, there was like a lounge area, food trucks, and it was just great. Lots of weed.
What I really want to say is thank you, Legacy, for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stash for Dispensary, for hosting it. There's two stashes. There's the Orland Hills location, which we were at, which will eventually have a consumption lounge, which we were at inside their consumption lounge space. And then they also have a store in Peru. Legacy, you can buy them at multiple dispensaries in Illinois. But the one thing I want to say is the music was banging.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was clouds and clouds and clouds everywhere you walked. But I really appreciate them inviting the local cannabis business owners.
Yes.
And it was really special to see a lot of people there. We got to hang out with Spliff Society, our friend Briggs. We got to hang out with Smoke Signals. We got to see Vape and Prop. We got to see
Hemp House Plants.
We got to see the Rose cone.
Rosas. I'm forgetting the name of it, but they're cones.
Yes, Rosa's cones. They were there. There was a dab station there too. Who else was there? There was
Stoner Village, which I didn't get over to visit them and introduce myself, but they're a brand.
Yep. There was
Safety Meeting.
Flour Mill.
Yeah, Flour Mill
was there. And of course Legacy had their booth there too. A pretty dope ass booth. So but what was great was you got to see a lot of small business owners that have created something. Like it was their brand. Us too, 8 Decades too. But it was they weren't repping somebody else's brand. They were repping the brands that they created, built, and are establishing themselves as a small local business owner, which I find absolutely outstanding to see. Everybody's super cool there. Everybody had a lot of fun. Our 8 Decades booth is a welcoming, inviting area, which I love. You have our 8 Decades tray smoke set. out for people to look at and purchase. But then we also give you a rolling station with 2 stations that you can roll joints and stuff joints. And I like to thank Briggs from Spliff Society for throwing us like 20 packs of wraps.
Tons of wraps. His wraps are really
so good.
Everybody knows I love a good joint, and a spliff with a Spliff Society wrap is really so smooth.
Yeah.
It's
so
just
nice.
amazing.
And everybody that came to the table got to
They were loving it.
experience.
Yeah.
Legacy threw us a couple ounces of weed that was on the table at all times, so people got to try their weed out, which was great. And then you get to try the rolling tray, and you got to stuff joints and roll joints. And then if you bought something too, you got to have a joint stuffed by one of Mr. Weedman's homegrown strains that a lot of people enjoyed too. So it was a lot of fun, a great experience. Just seeing a lot of people in the industry that we've seen at other events too, coming up and talking and hanging out, smoking joints with people. And I didn't get to smoke with anybody because I was still running that cold, so I was very bummed. Mrs. Weedman had a lot of joint smoking going on.
I had lots of joints.
Family came out and supported too.
Yeah, we had family.
Yeah, we had family come and support. It was a very well done, well run, lots of fun experience event. And that's what the cannabis community needs. Fun experience events. So well done, Stash Dispensary, for hosting it and for having it at where your future consumption lounge will be. Legacy, phenomenal party you threw. And the music was banging. And great to see everybody.
Yes.
So, and then we're doing something this Thursday.
We are. This Thursday, we're going to be at Replay Lincoln Park. So that is an adult arcade and bar. And this is going to be hosted by Cannavi, and it's called Joints to the World. So 21 and over, no cover. Thursday the 21st from 6 p.m. till midnight. That's in Lincoln Park, one of the neighborhoods of the city. And it's a bring your own cannabis. So there's going to be DJs, there's going to be vendors, there's going to be obviously arcade games and artwork as well. So that should be fun.
We need to post that on our Instagram so people know where we're going.
It's on my plan for tomorrow, Mr. Weedman. Come and see us.
Yes, come hang out. We'll have our rolling station and hang out and come play with the smoke set and have some fun and ask us questions and smoke a joint with us.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Weedman's feeling better, so he can smoke with people again. What else?
Well, what else?
Nothing.
Christmas.
Oh, gosh, right around the corner.
It is.
We're a few days away.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It is the 19th of December today, Tuesday. 12/19/2023, Mrs. Weedman's favorite time.
I realized today. Okay, I had appointments. I'm a realtor by day, so I had paperwork and things to do this morning, and then I had a couple hours free before I had to go and meet clients to show some homes. So I was like, perfect. I'll be out near the mall. I'm gonna go pop in the stores. I don't like malls. I don't like shopping really. All of it. And so I tend to be a bit of a Scrooge around Christmas. I like giving a gift. I don't like the forced nature of Christmas and that we have gotten so far away from what Christmas is about. And it's just a big commercial movement. It's just like, let's make everybody fucking crazy and make people who don't have excess funds completely fucking broke and put a bunch of shit under the tree that nobody really fucking needs. Excuse my French. I'm really not a Scrooge. It's just the principality of it all. And this crazy, stressful season that has evolved from years and years and years of this holiday, right? I mean, this has been a very slow progressing, but I feel like we're at this tipping point. And it's just got to scale back. It's just got to chill out. So today I realized as I was walking through the mall, getting more gifts, that I was like, it's really, I don't mind giving gifts. I don't mind all of this. I really enjoy giving a gift and I enjoy getting a gift. It's fun, right? What I hate is just that, that's what, because Christmas is always a pleasure because now you're around everybody that you love or you hate or you whatever. It's a mixture. It's family, it's friends, it's whatever your crazy holiday is. We all have different dynamics, right? And it can make holidays favorable or not. But in the moment, the day of Christmas, I really enjoy Christmas. but it's the lead up of all this frenzy. So I just realized I have to have a better strategy. You know, there's people that like start shopping like
In July,
right, like your mom is done
like
in July.
Ma 420.
It's really, when you think about it that way, when you go through the year and something stands out and you're like, oh my God, that would be so cute for so and so. Just from now on, it's just like, I'm going to get it. Because then there, boom, Christmas.
Just remember where you put it.
I know, right? I find it like 3 years later, like, oh shit, this is where it was. I really wanted to give this to so and so. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm just, when I see things throughout the year that trigger a thought of somebody, if it's, you know, within a range that I would spend on a gift, I'm going to grab it and I'm just going to put a name on it and start stacking shit up.
We'll put it in a Christmas box in the crawl space.
Right. We'll just
make
have a
Christmas
bin.
box
We'll have a
right
bin
next to all the Christmas stuff.
Hey, look at this. We just created a system. And then Christmas season won't be so freaking crazy.
Thank you, Cherries 2.1.
Thanks, Cherries. Gosh, I need more of this in my life.
That was the only nug.
Damn
Got a
it.
little bit over there left. So
Sam,
savor it. Yes.
give us more.
Yeah, Sam. Or we just need to.
We'll trade you.
We just need to buy some from Mike.
Yeah, we need some
Straight A
seeds.
Genetics and get some seeds and then
Oh,
plant
shit.
them.
I just solved my life problem.
So easy.
Dang,
Thank
that was
you,
really
weed.
like just
Thank
one,
you- thank
one
you, weed.
conversation with myself.
You
great.
and Cherries 2.1.
Me and Cherries.
Well, everybody, hopefully you're gonna have a great Christmas.
Yes.
And or whatever holiday you celebrate.
Yes.
So hopefully you have happy holidays and you're with your loved ones. Or if you're not with your loved ones and if you're by yourself, reach out. DM me. I'd love to say hello. You know, DM me on Instagram. Send me a picture of your weed you're smoking. I'll send you one back. So if you're lonely out there, though, and you need somebody to talk to, just DM Mr. Weedman or DM a friend or, you know.
You can DM me too.
Yeah, Mrs.
I love
Weedman
chatting.
too. 8 decades, DM her. That's her handle. And because there's somebody out there that does love you, and there's somebody
That's
out there
right.
that does care about you, and you are loved.
Mm-hmm.
You are someone's favorite person in the world. Just remember that when you're in your lowest moments of your life, there is somebody out there that will tell you how much they love you.
Mm-hmm.
And there is somebody out there that will give you a hug. And there is somebody out there that will just listen.
Mm-hmm. Don't
So-
be afraid. Because you probably know who that person is.
Because it's
And
not
maybe
for
you
everybody.
talk yourself out
Sometimes
of
the holidays are
talking
not
to
for
them.
everybody.
No.
Sometimes people are sad during the holidays. They
can
lost
be
loved
terrible.
ones. Yeah, they lost loved ones. They feel suicidal, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and there's things out there that can help, and there's people out there that can help, and there's loved ones out there that can help. You are not alone.
No, you are not.
You're not.
I would say, like, my dad passed away in November of 2013 after a very short illness. And then guess what happened? Like, unbeknownst to me, I was kind of a mess every holiday season. And I used to be the one who would be like, oh, well, you know, we all, when our time comes, you know, life is a cycle and we all have to die sometime. And sometimes it's unexpected. But I don't know, you move on and you got to get through. And then when I experienced, like, I experienced a lot of loss, friends, young friends, grandparents. I've lost some people, but my own parent, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And I thought, you know, it's like you process it and you move on. You know they're in a good place. It's all good. But it really just, like, it wouldn't even be a conscious change. It was just like all of a sudden, like, it just creeps up on you, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I'm really in a funk. I wonder why. And then you're like, oh, it's the end of November. Huh. Go figure. Oh, it's like my dad died a year ago last week. Like, you know, like there's these little moments where you're like, why am I in this mood? And you don't even realize it. So think about those who maybe it has nothing to do with the loss of somebody. It's just depression, or it's hopelessness, or it's lack of support, or family, or friends, or money. There's something that just has a lot of people down. It is really, really important to recognize that and listen to people when you ask them how they're doing. Like, kind of take note. Like, if they just come back quick, like, yeah, good. Are you really good? Yeah, I don't know. Think about it twice. If something in your gut tells you that person needs something or something isn't quite right, don't be afraid to maybe overstep your boundaries and question them a little harder, pull them off to the side, start a conversation, and see if something is not right, and just be there for them.
It could be a happy time for a lot of people, and it could be a lonely time for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just remember that. And as much as I love being with family, and like Mrs. Weedman said, she lost a loved one. I lost a loved one. My dad passed away at 52 years old.
When he was 52.
Yeah, when he was 52.
And now you're 51.
Yeah. And
Pretty
the crazy
weird.
thing about it is his favorite holiday was Christmas. Loved, love, 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 love. So every time Christmas, a certain song
Yeah.
or a certain Christmas cartoon that came on that I knew,
Yes.
or a movie, or one-liner, or food, or a tree, or going past someone's home with all the cool Christmas lights that he loved doing
Oh my
himself.
gosh. Yeah.
So there's things out there, there's triggers, that at this time of the year make people depressed or upset. You're not the only one.
If you're the person who's upset, you're not alone.
You're not alone. Reach out. Reach out. This is the time of year where people will give you the hardest hug you will ever feel in your life that you need. And maybe that's what you want. Maybe you need quality time with somebody. Maybe you haven't gotten a gift in a long time and you need a present. I will happily give you a joint or some edibles, as a gift in a nice little 8 decades bag. Maybe you need, what are some of the other love languages? There's quality time.
Words of affirmation.
Words of encouragement. You're loved. You're special. You're unique.
You're seen. You're heard. Some people just
heard.
need to be heard,
Right.
Or feel like they're seen, like they're not invisible.
Yeah. So there's also affection.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need a hug, or need to be touched, or need a kiss, or just need to be, their hand needs to be held is enough. Yeah. Is there 4 or 5?
The 5. The book is called the 5.
So
the
what am I
5
missed?
love
So I missed.
languages.
So I said words of affirmation,
Quality time.
affection, gift giving, and I always forget.
Yeah, there's
I always
one
forget one. Can you look it up real quick?
I'll try.
Just say what are the 5 love languages
know
and see
what
what
to
comes
ask.
up. But we all like all 5, but we all have one that's more important than the rest. I mean, who doesn't like getting a gift? Who doesn't like affection? Who doesn't like being told something nice? So there's all of that, and there are people out there that can help.
Words of affirmation.
Yes.
Gift giving.
Yes.
Acts of service.
That's it. Acts of service.
Physical touch and quality time.
Quality time. Acts of service I always forget. That's the one I always forget.
Yeah.
So acts of service, so some, cook dinner for somebody that might be working on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
If maybe somebody, a friend that's working, send them a pizza from Domino's. Hell yeah. Or drive by and drop them off a joint for after work. So just remember, you are loved. There are people for you. Human beings. Even a dog makes you feel good. Or a cat, or a hamster, whatever, bird. So, you ready to get the show started?
Yeah. Let's
All right.
do it.
Powder THC. What is it? And how does it work? Powder THC has become a popular cannabis infusion method in commercial operations as it helps brands create new, exciting products. It can also be valuable to the home cook looking to spice up their edibles. Those who consume THC powder report it's fast-acting, and there's science behind the rapid onset. The benefits of water-soluble cannabinoids are numerous, and the consumers should be keen on this powdered form of weed. Those concerned with water-soluble THC powder is all about from the basics to the cannabis products that use it. What is powdered THC? The term powdered THC most often refers to cannabis extract that has been processed into powder form. You might have heard of CBD isolate, which is a powder form of CBD. Though technically keef is also a powdered THC, the differences are in manufacturing process and the end results. Keef is we've talked about it, when you grind your weed and it's little, like all the trichomes and all the goodness flows through your grinder and goes into the screen you have there and then goes down into the little holder, and that's keef. Keef is amazing. You could do so much with it. It's so many activities. This means the body uses more of the cannabinoids. In turn, the compounds have a more intense impact. Another difference is that Keef is a pure cannabis byproduct, while many powdered THC products contain additives. Many powdered cannabis products are made by combining cannabis oil with a carb-rich emulsifier like sunflower lecithin powder. When we discovered coconut oil and sunflower lecithin, it changed our whole world with edibles. I mean, we loved regular butter, and we did that for years. But when we moved on to coconut oil and ghee, it kind of brought the cannabis a little bit better. I'm not saying the edibles got better. The edibles were already good. But it brought the feelings you got and the high you got and the onset you got and just made the whole binding of the cannabis a little bit better. We've talked
and
about
the flavor, the nutty flavor of coconut oil,
which you like,
is super complementary to cannabis, and it kind of it just gives your food like a nutty earthiness, but not that like funky tasting earthy that you can get with butters and things like that. It's really good.
So sunflower lecithin is an emulsifier, is an agent that mixes normally unmixable liquids like cannabis oil and water. Lecithin is a phospholipid, and many theorize that phospholipids increase the bioavailability of cannabinoids. Amazingly, that's not the only benefit of getting a powdered form of cannabis. The benefits of weed in powdered form. Proponents of powdered THC claim it is more bioavailable than traditional edibles, with a rapid onset as low as 15 minutes for some, compared with the 40 to 120 minutes with traditional edibles. These are noteworthy. Another benefit is how easily powdered THC is included in myriad recipes. THC used to be reserved for butter and fat-heavy recipes like baked goods, and rapid onset was saved for smoking and vaping, but not anymore. Those who consume cannabis can now explore different parts of their cookbooks or even serve an entire cannabis-infused holiday meal. Yay. Because previous infusion iterations were not fat soluble, many were stumped on how to make cannabis mocktails. Now, weed can find its way to a true liquid marijuana drink or a seasonal adult beverage with ease, thanks to powdered THC. I'd like to throw a shout out to our friend Carlos, who owns
Elevated Cocktails.
Phenomenal.
Yummy.
Phenomenal drinks. You need to hire him for all your parties.
He makes craft cocktails, and he uses liquid THC. And so he makes essentially an alcohol-free, really nice upscale cocktail, and then adds the cannabis tinctures to it. And he even has terpenes.
Yes.
And, I mean, they're delicious
really well
drinks.
done. So
yeah. And you can dose as low as, I think, 2.5 milligrams per drink.
Though THC water solubility is a major coup for the cannabis infusion crowd, this extract doesn't more than simply dissolve into drinks. Powdered THC products. Cannabis brands are utilizing powdered THC options to craft indigenous edibles, from savory mashed potatoes to powders that can be used in drinks or added to home recipes. That's awesome. Powdered cannabis has also empowered gummy brands. Manufacturers, because of the water-soluble beverages, offers various cannabis gummy brands, and also local breweries too in Minnesota, especially, that are using it for all those craft beverages, those craft cannabis beverages, which I think they're fucking delicious. Most of them that I've had from up there, so well done. Because a lot of them are made by breweries that understand how to make a drink. So. Lots of cannabis companies use flavors and combinations with powdered THC, making cannabis drinks easier than ever. So powdered THC fact, there are lots of possibilities when it comes to THC powder. What is THC powder made of? THC powder is made of cannabis, coconut oil, or equivalent fat, some kind of emulsifier, lecithin like sunflower or soy, and starch like tapioca or potato. The emulsifier and the starch, or maltodextrin, soak up all the oil and help the products dissolve evenly into liquid. How does powdered THC work? Powdered THC can be added to non-infused foods and works in almost the same way as most edibles. The introduction of an emulsifier can often lead to faster onset and higher bioavailability. This happens when lecithin or chosen emulsifier is a phospholipid. What is powdered weed? Powdered weed can be a few things, though it is commonly referred to as THC powder. This is a water-soluble powder infused with THC that can be eaten plain, made into a drink, or used into other fun recipes. Does THC powder expire? Like most cannabis products, THC doesn't technically expire, but it does reach a half-life. After that, then the potency decreases rapidly. After about 6 months, dried cannabis hits its half-life depending on storage, but extraction lengthens this period. THC oil has a half-life of 1 to 2 years. If the powder is made with oil and no other expiring ingredients, it's best to use it in a 1 year. We have a lot of cannabis oil we need to start using.
Yeah, I gotta make. I should be making that for
That's
Christmas
what you should be
gifts.
making.
I know, right?
What is THC powder used for? There are a lot of uses for THC powder. Consumers can consume cannabis powder or use it in recipes at home. Cannabis companies use powder THC to manufacture products. Is extract stronger than THC powder? The strength of cannabis products depending on multiple factors. THC powder and extracts can be both low and high in THC based on the goals of the manufacturer, start product, and more. Extracts tend to be high in THC, but there are some drink powders that boast the same. Make sure you read labels, everybody. Read your labels. Does powdered THC have side effects? When it comes to side effects, powdered THC will have same possibilities as other cannabis products. Psychoactive effects, dry eyes, thirst, changes in mood, altered senses, impaired memory, difficult solving some problems. An impaired body movement may also follow if you take way too much. So yeah, you're actually seeing it in the market. So, I mean, it's out there. So you just maybe might not know about it, but it is. So it's the holiday season. And what do people like to do during the holiday season?
They like to drink a lot.
Be careful doing what?
Mixing weed and alcohol.
There you go. Tell us about it, Ms. Weedman.
Yeah, the holidays are a time of big feasts and having fun. Yeah, I can read. Holiday family meals occasionally have members who need to go grab something from the car, the age-old code for weed time. But maybe they should be careful mixing weed with alcohol. Holiday parties, catching up with old friends, work events, and just being festive or stressed. Lots of reasons to have a drink or consume some cannabis. Occasionally mixing alcohol and weed, known as crossfading, happens. During the social holiday season, there seems to be more opportunities where the combination is offered. Using cannabis and alcohol together enhances the effects of each, causing increased side effects including slowed reaction time, loss of coordination, problem-solving, and decision-making skills. When it comes to drugs, there's caffeine, alcohol, and cannabis in that order. I don't know about that. I think caffeine, cannabis, then alcohol, but that's my opinion.
And those cannabis and caffeine aren't drugs.
But if you're going to classify them as such, alcohol would be the worst of the three.
Oh, 100.
Yeah.
How many people die from cannabis every year? None. How many people died of caffeine overdose? Well, there was one this year I know of from the Panera Bread lemonade. It was too much
proved. Not proved.
That proves.
I think it actually. I think that got
Alcohol.
dropped.
We just read over 100,000 people a year die from
like
alcohol
120 or
in
40
the
or
United
something.
States alone.
Yeah.
Cannabis, 0.
So it should come as no surprise that many people use these things together, and it is well established that alcohol increases the absorption of THC. Despite the potential dangers of mixing them, it's common to do so. If you combine cannabis and alcohol occasionally and in moderation, there's less of a risk. But regularly doing so can come with health issues. People who are canna newbies may also have stronger reactions as they are unfamiliar with dosage amounts. Drinking before using weed can intensify weed's effects. This is because alcohol increases the absorption of weed's main psychoactive ingredient, delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC. This generally results in a stronger high. While this might be nice for some folks, it can cause others to green out, presenting a range of unpleasant physical symptoms, including sweating, dizziness, and nausea. Using weed before drinking alcohol may minimize the effects of alcohol.
So true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So you might be tipsier than you feel, increasing your risk for becoming overly intoxicated. So this holiday season, be careful mixing the two. It's probably not the best time to experiment.
First time I had that experience of being drunk and then someone getting me stoned, I threw up
Yeah, it's bad.
all over the place.
It's
Because
just
I was
not a
already
good-
drunk. I didn't need weed. I need water in
a
a
little
bed.
of both is okay, or a lot of weed and like a beer
Couple
or
beer-
a
I mean,
drink or two.
Yeah, I'd
It's
rather
cool,
be stoned first,
but
high
yeah.
first, and then go drink than be drunk and smoke weed and then you're done.
Yuck.
Such
I
a
just think
shitty move.
Lots of weed and very little alcohol.
A couple
and
beers,
you're
two
good.
tree, you're good to go. But
Yeah.
it's just, if you're going to smoke consistently, dial it back a little bit on the
Yeah, you're not
on the
gonna
alcohol.
like
If you're going to drink and you're going to drink,
it. Then don't even smoke.
don't even go there.
Don't even.
Right. If you're going to moderate both of them, cool. Have
A
fun.
little bit of both.
Go all about it. Get your buzz on. So that was a good article though, because like I said, some newbies or some people that aren't experienced. I'm 51. I've been drunk many times. I've been high many times. I've been drunk high. I've been high drunk.
Yeah. The
Mrs.
combo one is.
The Mrs. Weedman's combos though.
Ooh, I got the hiccups just thinking
she's
about
hurt
it.
for a couple of days. If she's drunk and smokes or gets too
Much alcohol and too much weed.
she is hurting.
Oh,
And
that's
she-
like fetal position. Fetal position for 24 hours.
Maybe even pointing to the porcelain god.
Don't touch me and don't just I can't.
And all I do is, can I get you anything? Do you need
Nope.
some water? Do you
Go
need
away.
compress? Do you need anything? Just let me know. Text me. I'll be all the way downstairs in the basement in the studio.
Ugh.
Just text me if you need anything, because you just know. I just know. I mean, I'm laughing because I've seen Mrs. Weedman one too many times in that position.
It's like once a decade I have like a real blowout. I have just a grand time while I'm out and about, but boy do I pay for it.
I remember the first time I saw you like this.
Yeah.
You were with your sister and you were with PW.
Oh.
And you were at
We went to a neighborhood reunion, like an all school reunion.
Yes.
And we didn't even go to that school. That was the funniest part. My
But
sisters went there.
You were drinking Goldschlager, which I don't know if
Was
you've
it?
ever.
Oh.
Yeah, I
No,
don't
that
even-
was a different night, I think.
No, just you told me you were drinking Gold, and then you went. The PW took you to like the school area.
We went into one of the classrooms and
you
smoked a joint with a
and
bunch of people in a circle.
You came home, and you were fine, and then all of a sudden you turned.
I just dropped.
Fucking pale, and you're like, I don't feel right. You went and you laid on the floor of the bathroom, and next thing you know, you were throwing up. And I remember the kids, because they were like 3 and 1,
Yeah.
or 4 and 2.
Oh, I remember that
Came
time.
into the bathroom and they were like, "What's wrong with mommy?" I'm like, "She's just sick. She's just go back. Come on, I'll take you back
I think
to
I
bed."
was in the hot shower too for like an hour, just laying on the floor. Help.
And that was 1998.
So that was my 20 decade binger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have like one solid one
So
for each.
and you
each
were
decade.
hurting for like 2 days. I remember your sister calling up the next day, and she was laughing at you, and I don't want to talk to them. So it's a true thing.
It is. Don't mix them
Smoke
both.
first.
Just don't do the extreme of
Yes.
both together.
There you
It's
go.
Not good.
How do you like to choose weed?
How do I like to choose?
How do you? I mean, since you've learned, since we've been doing the show.
Oh,
you've
me
learned, yeah, how do
personally,
you-
like lately, I have been choosing it by smell.
and you haven't even cared about what the strain is.
I don't care what the strain is.
You've just been going to the
I've been
jars, and then
sniffing
after
around
you
like a
sniff
dog.
it, you look at what it is.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Because I came home the other day and I saw something. What did you grind up? And you told me. I was like, oh, would you? You go. I went to a couple different jars, and this one hit my nose right, and I grinded it up and smoked. I'm like, what was it? And then you told me it was the.
It was the blueberry sangria.
Blueberry sangria. Oh, so good.
I like the fruity stuff in the daytime, and I like the cheesy, gassy stuff at night.
You do like the gassy stuff at night, so.
Cheesy, gassy stuff.
So this is what we're trying to tell you. You don't always have to like know the name of the strain.
Yep.
You know, like Skittles or Runts, or like we talked about, Sour Diesel, or
I am the most uninformed about all of that. I mean, I think I remember like what I need to start using like I'll never do it. Like an app that allows you to record. I talked about this. Like, I'm going to start like tracking the stuff that I use, so then I can track how I feel, the effects of it, and see if there's something that I tend to favor. And yeah, I should do that.
yeah, I mean, here it is.
That'll be on my 2024 list.
There you go.
Of things to do.
It's up to the brand to put it on the labels, of course. You know what the name of the strain is, and I mean, the name of the strain does matter, but sometimes you don't know what the strain is. It could be a cross of something, so you're just like, oh, okay, it's a cool name, but I have no idea what this is. So then most people tend to go, well, what's the cannabinoid? What's not even what the cannabinoid? What's the THC percentage? Wrong answer. or a wrong question, right?
Yeah.
So it is, what are the cannabinoids? Okay. All right. It's just THCA in there. Okay. Is there anything else? Like I got someone gave me a gift today of some different strains and it from the dispensary, and it had actually listed 4 or 5 different cannabinoids on 4 cannabinoids on there. THCA was like 18%. THC, there was like 1%. CBGA, which was like 1.5%, 2%. And then it listed CBDA, CBD as 0 and 0. So, and there was one more, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Then it listed the terpenes, which was great, and how much percentage was in the terps. So overall, it was like 2.5%, but there was 3 different terpenes in there, so which was cool. And it was nice to see that you were looking at the whole label of what you want, and the lettering was big enough that you could actually read. I didn't need to get a magnifying glass. And I was able to see it clearly. So exactly the 3 terpenes that I knew about. It had the cannabinoids that I like. It had the percentage that I was into. It had a name that I don't remember, and then when I opened it, I looked at the buds and I smelled it. I'm like, this has a good smell. And especially that it has one of my favorite terps in there, myrcene too. So it was very, very uplifting to my nose, my nostrils. It was like, oh yeah. It also had humulene in there that comes from hops, and it had terpene in there also. So it had 3 really nice terpenes in there, ranging about 2.98% total terpenes percentage. It was very good. I haven't smoked it yet, but I because I wanted to see, because I knew I was going to be talking about this today on the show. I wanted to go about I wanted to look more into, now that I'm not smoking my own. I don't know what's in it. I know it's good weed, but I don't know it's not been tested, so I don't know everything in it. So I wanted to really look into these labels to see if I like, and this brand did a very good job. And then I didn't get to choose by my smell, because it's in Illinois, everything is all locked up and child proof, so you can't open it up at the store. So when I got home, I got to really smell it, and if I liked it or not. If I didn't like it, I was probably just gonna give it to my nieces. But I like the smell, so I'm definitely gonna smoke.
It's real nice. I hope they're not listening.
Why? Just because I didn't like the smell doesn't mean they're not gonna like the smell.
Right. They might love it.
Right. So, and then, like I said, know your terps. Know your terps and what terps you've tried before and about that you like. I've talked about all the terpenes. I talked to terpene chart, told everybody, and I've learned myself what the terps are. So I'm not going to go into all the terps, but know your terps that you like. I like myrcene. I love it. Does great for my body. I like caryophyllene. If the daytime, I like A and B pinene, and I like limonene. I love linalool, there's a lot of different terpenes I like, so know your terps and what you're looking for, what does well for your body. Here's a big one. Ask your friends that smoke a lot, or go to the dispensary a lot and try a lot of different strains. Here's the key, though. Your best friend could be the bud tender. They know. They get samples and they get to try all the good stuff. So ask your bud tender what they like. And then the biggest thing, and have some fun with it, trial and error. Right?
That's
Keep
right.
on trying. You're eventually going to find things that you like. And like Mrs. Weedman said, take notes. All you got to do is take your notepad from your phone and just write, I tried Cherries 2.1. I liked it. This is really, and even if you don't know anything else about it, I like it. So if I'm a grower and I want to grow that strain, I'm going to look for that strain. Straight A Genetics, please go check them out. But also, if you don't want to grow it and you want to find it again to smoke it, well, you know where to look. And you got to check menus, or you got to find out who in the traditional market has it, or who's a home grower that's growing it, or a caregiver that's growing it. Something. So just find out, and it'll put you in a good place. Man, variety is the spice of life. We love making edibles.
Yep.
We love it. Love it, love it, love making edibles. Love making butter. Have so much fun when I get to eat all the good stuff Mrs. Weedman makes. But it's Christmas time, and some of you out there like to make edibles for parties and for friends and gifts, and you got brownies and cookies and cakes and all the fun stuff at Christmas time, gingerbread men and all the good stuff. Mrs. Weedman, what's the ultimate guide on how you make your edibles?
Yep. A love for weed broadens the mind in ways beyond the obvious. As more states legalize cultivation, for example, many who have never even grown a tomato plant are suddenly becoming enthusiastic amateur horticulturists. The same applies in the kitchen. If your experience of cannabis edibles has so far been limited to gorging yourself on ready-made brownies, it is time to unleash your inner Gordon Ramsay. Cooking with cannabis is far less complicated than you may think. So, you need to start with choosing your weed. You'll never make a good cake without the correct type of flour. Similarly, some varieties of weed are better than others for making edibles. It also depends on the sort of effect you are looking for. Broadly speaking, sativas provide a more euphoric effect, while indicas are a better choice if you want to chill. Now you need to prepare your buds. Preparing weed as a culinary ingredient is a little different from rolling a joint, but the first step will be familiar. You need to grind your buds. The general rule here is the finer the better. If you're going to be cooking with cannabis regularly, you could follow the example of cannabis chef and celebrity stoner Robin Griggs Lawrence. She uses an old-fashioned manual grinder that she keeps especially for this purpose. Necessity is the mother of invention, however. If you don't have a grinder, you can get by with a mortar and pestle or whatever innovative grinding solution you're accustomed to using. Now you need to calculate the ratios. The first step to preparing cannabis edibles is to make a smooth and potent cannabis oil by combining weed with oil or butter. Similar to cake making, you need to add the ingredients in the correct ratios, or you are doomed to fail. The rule of thumb here is 1 ounce of weed to each cup of oil or 4 sticks of butter. Don't be afraid to make more than you need. It's easier to prepare a cup or 2, and you can always freeze anything you don't use immediately. Now, make the oil. There are 2 common methods for making cannabis oil, either in a saucepan or using a slow cooker. And I've added that you could also use a magic butter machine. Its advantage is that it's far faster to cook using the saucepan versus a slow cooker, and the magic butter machine is even quicker. So let's run through the methods. Stovetop, melt the butter or warm the oil in a saucepan gently. Start at the lowest heat setting and don't rush it. Add the ground wheat gradually and keep stirring. If you've ever made a bechamel sauce, it's a similar process, only here you need to stir for even longer. Continuous stirring or the weed could burn. If you get it right, your cannabis oil will be ready after about 20 minutes. In a slow cooker, for one thing, there's no risk of burning the weed, and for another, the result is fuller and more potent than you would get cooking it on the stove. The downside is that it takes far longer. Place the oil or butter and the cannabis in a sealed jar. Half fill the slow cooker with water, switch it to on, low power, and place the jar in the water. You could even put a towel on the bottom and then put the jar on top of the towel. Now you can go and get on with your day. 6 hours later, you'll have a jar of fantastic cannabis oil, but you can even leave it longer and it'll get even better. And if you have a magic butter machine or any sort of machine like this, you could decarb your weed in the oven at 245 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. Then put it in the machine. The machine will grind it up. You add, well, before it grinds it up, you're going to also add your oil, your butter to it. You turn it on, it grinds up the butter, mixes everything up, and it will just do its magic and beep when it's done. Whichever method you use, you'll need to strain off the oil once it's ready. You can use a normal kitchen strainer and line it with a layer of cheesecloth, which you can buy at the grocery store or online. Place the lined strainer over a large bowl and gently pour. It'll take a while for all of the liquid to pass through the cheesecloth. My advice is throw on some plastic kitchen gloves and squeeze the cheesecloth so you get every drip. And because if you don't, you're going to get freaking baked. It's going to soak into your skin.
No, don't do what Mr. Weedman
and
did.
Don't suck on the cheesecloth at the end like Mr. Weedman. And lick the spoon.
I was stoned for 2 days.
Oh, gosh. We had friends over and we were cooking butter, and our friend was like licking the spoon. Like he probably ate.
We were sucking the
sucking on the cheesecloth after I can't let anything go to waste.
I was
the two of them
fucking high for 2. I actually went to work one of the days.
And you were having like rebounds.
I turned around and came home. Like 2 hours in, I turned around and came home. I was like, I'm done. And I never fucking leave work when I start. And I turned around and got in my car and drove home. And you're like, what's wrong? You sick? I'm like, I'm still fucking baked. I was high for 48 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. So put the gloves on, and then when everything stops dripping, you can actually squeeze it and get every last drop out of there. And then get creative. Tempting as it might be to start chugging your cannabis oil and settle down into some serious couch lock, it's not recommended. This is actually the point in the process when the fun can really start. The possibilities are almost limitless as to how you can use your oil. Here are a few ideas. You can add the cannabis oil or butter into a standard recipe for cupcakes, muffins, even banana bread. You can let it chill and use it to make salad dressing. Or for simplicity, you can just spread it. If you do a butter, you could just spread it right on toast and top it with jam. Whichever you choose, you'll be eager to dive in. Take care with portion control, and remember that it can take up to an hour for the effects to kick in. So start with a small serving. For example, if you make banana bread, a thumb-sized portion is enough to begin with. If you leave it as butter, you don't bake, and you're putting it on a piece of toast, like a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, like start with a teaspoon. That would probably be even a lot.
If you're a newbie, yeah.
Mix it into some regular butter, you know. You can always have more, but once you've eaten it, you're in. You know,
yeah,
you're
you
in
can
for
always
the
have
ride.
a second piece of toast with butter on it
Yeah.
and jam.
As we often talk about, edibles create a different kind of high than smoking, one that is often stronger and can last longer. So plan your cooking and baking accordingly, and then you can be certain to relax and enjoy yourself.
Hell yeah. Edibles for the win for the holiday season.
Yeah.
Colorado governor says marijuana prohibition created a chicken and the egg research dilemma that's blocked federal reform. Missouri cannabis update. Tighter regulatory grip and growing unionization. Missouri lawmakers introduced an Intoxicating Cannabinoid Control Act aiming to regulate hemp and cannabis products like marijuana. And then a lot of unions and cannabis workers highlighting aspirations for improved working conditions. Chicago liquor stores are selling THC-infused drinks. I have seen it. I've seen it myself. You're seeing cannabis-infused drinks. Not CBD drinks anymore. Because that was the thing of like 3 or 4 years ago. They were all carrying CBD drinks. And they weren't selling very much. But now there's THC seltzers and THC drinks. The highest I've seen is like 25 milligrams at one store. I was like, whoa. Someone's about to get fucked up. Oh, shit. So, yeah, they hit the shelves. So, we'll see. Georgia pharmacist is very disappointed with DEA warning letter on dispensing medical marijuana, saying it's an opioid alternative. Well, that's your first mistake, letting pharmacies who don't know anything about weed sell it. So, there's your first mistake, Georgia. And then Georgia medical cannabis officials weigh response to DEA's threat against pharmacies, including possible lawsuit. It's just a whole hot mess in Georgia. New York governor announced the state will open 12 new marijuana shops by year's end. It's not enough, governor. It's not enough. Kansas Senate President nod to medical marijuana. It's one of America's last total banned states, turning a new leaf. We'll see. Come on, Dorothy. Find your Toto. Pennsylvania governor expected to okay medical cannabis expansion. Don't forget they're also going to be letting this bill approves to allow medical marijuana companies to vertically integrate and also like have your cultivation and sell right on spot too. So you're gonna have 2 in 1. Jersey, the place I was born, is gonna let home grow happen because no place like home grow medical cannabis. Let's go, Jersey. Alabama medical marijuana regulators award 5 licenses for vertical integrated businesses, which they said they weren't going to do, and they did it anyway. There was a bunch of lawsuits down there and crazy shit. Michigan, their November sales, $260.5 million. $260.5 million. There'll be about $3 billion, almost $3.5–4 billion this year. It's crazy. Flower still reigns king. 951 pounds sold. I think that was for med, but rec was 74,000 pounds sold.
Jeez. Just a little bit.
And then shake and trim is 29,000 pounds. Concentrates, 3,000 pounds. Inhalable concentrates, 7,000 pounds. Vape cartridges, 9,000 pounds. Keef, 13 pounds. It's a lot of keef.
Yeah.
13
That
pounds
stuff
of keef is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of keef. It'd be like a suitcase full.
It's a lot of keef. Infused edibles, 331,000 pounds. Crazy. That's a lot.
Yeah.
$260 million. Fucking nuts. Hunter Biden's attorney says millions of marijuana users in legal states violate federal gun laws that being unconstitutionally enforced.
You know, here's a thought that just popped in my head. Millions of people around, let's just talk about the U.S. Millions of people around the United States are already using cannabis.
Yes.
Regardless of the laws, there were probably millions of people.
Or before even the
and we
laws
don't have insanity.
Right.
And we don't have complete madness.
Right.
Right. But it's still a drug, Schedule 1. Like, is something just going to change, like, all of a sudden?
Well,
Like, everyone's going to go crazy
Ready?
using it?
National marijuana legalization would grow tax revenue by $8.5 billion for all states.
Jeez.
You don't deserve any of that money, though.
Well, and they'll just misspend it anyway.
But they don't deserve any of it.
No, they don't.
That $8.5 billion needs to go into the $1 trillion that they use for the drug on wars and pay us back. In big fat checks. Mississippi retailers caught selling weed disguised as hemp products. Happened in Missouri. It's going to happen here.
It's gonna happen
We've told
everywhere.
you that
Yeah.
it does. It's the same plant,
Right.
Just a different type of apple. THCA, if it comes from the hemp plant or if it comes from the cannabis plant, is still THCA. So you're gonna. It happened. It's not. This is not the first time, especially if states are short weed too, and they need to find some. Crazy. Over 10 cannabis companies closing per month in Massachusetts. Low wholesale prices wreak havoc on profitability. Yeah, price compression is a real thing. So the only people that are going to be able to stay in business are the big corporate companies because they got dollars and cents. So, but the poor mom and pops are going to get fucking price compressed right out of the market, which is total horseshit. Oklahoma wants to listen to this, Mrs. Weedman.
I'm listening.
Oklahoma wants to prosecute a woman who took edibles because her fetus didn't have a medical marijuana card.
Oh, come on.
It says it right here in the Jezebel.
No words.
No, I have none. What are the 10 best states for businesses, for cannabis businesses ranked?
Yeah, the winner will surprise you. Have you ever wondered which U.S. state has the most favorable regulations for cannabis businesses? Seems like a very complicated question, right? Especially now, when nearly half have approved recreational cannabis and 38 have legalized medical marijuana. Also note, since federal laws still classify the plant as an illegal substance, each state has its own set of rules and regulations. So let's dig into the factors that should be taken into account when deciding on the best cannabis state. Among those that come to mind, including states with medical or both medical and recreational cannabis programs, nonprofit entities, rules about commercial licenses, etc. There are factors the Missouri-based law firm Thompson Coburn used to create an updated state-by-state ranking of cannabis regulations. Newly revised for 2023, this guide provides an overview of cannabis laws in every state, D.C., and the U.S. territories. The analysis lists each state from the most favorable for business to the most restrictive. The surprise winner, California, nope, it got bumped by Michigan. Yep. Michigan took the top spot, said Michael Rosenblum, partner at Thompson Coburn and co-chair of the company's cannabis group. Its success is fueled by low taxes and low barriers of entry at the state level. Michigan recovered significantly from a strenuous few years, which were marred by pricing compression and black market operations throughout the industry. I expect that regulators throughout the country will turn to Michigan's Cannabis Regulatory Agency as a case study for how to overcome these challenging market dynamics. Here's a brief overview of the first 3 states with the best laws for cannabis businesses. Number 1, Michigan. Last year, they ranked in at number 7. In 2023, sales are expected to reach $3 billion. As of July of 2023, 700 licensed retailers are working. Michigan's sales per capita figures exceeded California's. In 2022, Michigan had $229 per resident versus California at $135 per resident. In towns such as Ann Arbor, the annual Hash Bash event has been celebrated by residents and University of Michigan students for almost 50 years.
We gotta go.
I know, for almost 50 years. Local ordinances regulate and license cannabis dispensaries, and the state's first cannabis consumption lounges opened in 2022.
Now, before you go next, this one surprised the
this is ridiculous.
shit out of me. This one was like,
I can't even believe this is on here.
get the fuck out of here. Go ahead.
Number 2, Illinois. Seriously? Last year, they ranked at number 6. So, to assist social equity applicants with startup costs, lawmakers passed the HB 1438, which created, wonder where that came from, $30 million in loan programs, which should have come from the tax dollars, right? But I don't have a lot of faith in our financial programs in Illinois. Anyway, in a speech at the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference in September of 2023, Governor Pritzker touted Illinois legislation for creating the most equitable, accessible, and prosperous cannabis ecosystem in the nation. He said the program intentionally left portions of the market open so that social equity applicants could obtain licenses and capital. Yeah, with your, how much is it for a license?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Despite licensing delays, Illinois sold more than $1 billion in legal weed, medical and recreational sales combined. In 2022, the state continued its upward trend with $1.5 billion in sales. Illinois is home to some of the largest multi-state operators, including Green Thumb Industries, Verano Holdings, Cresco Labs, PharmaCann, and Ascend Wellness. 3, Arizona. Last year, they ranked in at number 9. Qualified medical patients may not be discriminated against or penalized by an employer based on their status as a cardholder. As of September 23, 148 facilities were operating. Large MSOs have a strong presence in Arizona, including Florida-based TrueLeaf, which acquired Arizona retailer Harvest Health and Recreation in 2021. The ranking further continues with number 4, California, number 5, Nevada, number 6, Massachusetts, 7 is Missouri, 8 is New York.
That should be like, New York should be like the worst.
Yeah. 9 is New Jersey, and 10, Oregon. Among the 10 worst cannabis states, according to the ranking, are South Carolina, North Carolina, Wyoming, Kansas, Tennessee, Indiana, South Dakota, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Even though currently ranked 43rd, the U.S. Virgin Islands does have a lot of potential. According to Rosebloom, it's just a young cannabis state, considering they welcomed adult use just this year. The U.S. Virgin Islands also stood out as a recently legal state that has tremendous potential, not just for the sizable tourist population with 1.6 million tourists annually, but for their lucrative tax incentive program offered through the territory's Economic Development Authority, which can result in a 90% reduction in corporate income tax for MSOs that open a back office in the territory, Rosenblum concluded.
I want to move to the Virgin Islands and open up a dispensary.
Right? So there's lots of interesting growth on the horizon. We'll have to see what's to come.
Yeah. International news, Dutch cannabis legalization pilot project to start last week. The Netherlands launched cannabis legalization pilot project with closed chain experiment. Cannabis legalization pilot project to start in Breda and Tilburg. 6 weeks after the start of the transition phase, the actual experimental phase would begin. That's confusing.
Yeah.
So you need a transition phase to go into the actual experimental phase?
I guess so.
Okay. They do it different in Netherlands, huh? UK's largest medical cannabis study announces new industry partners. 3 new industry partners join the Science T21 medical cannabis study in the UK. It's pleased to welcome 3 new industry partners in the groundbreaking medical cannabis study T21, formerly Project 2021. 21? They are Soma Pharmaceuticals, Backpoint Biotech, and 4 collabs who will be joining a long-standing partner, Pharma, as collaborators. Launched in 2019 and now over 4,000 patients T21 is building the scientific evidence base for the safety and evidence of cannabis-based medical products with the aim of increasing UK's patient access to these medicines on the NHS. So, cool. Good. How about just legalize it there? Be great. Australia exported 1,500 kilograms of cannabis in 2022. Rare data shows Australian cannabis production and exports inched higher in 2022 on the back of consistent industry growth, according to new data published by the country's Office of Drug Control. According to freshly published data, medical cannabis companies in Australia produced 24,900 kilograms, that's basically 55,000 pounds of cannabis in 2022, up from 16,700 kilograms in 2021. It's the first time Australia's Office of Drug Control is proactively disclosing the most basic data for the industry. Outside Australia, Canada, and some of the other countries, a lack of credible government-backed data is a major issue in the international medical cannabis industry. The total quantity of Australian cannabis exported last year increased slightly to 1,510 kilograms, up almost 6% compared to 2021. The German market account for the most Australia's exports. Yes, they are the biggest importer of cannabis around the globe because I think they have like 3 cultivators in the whole country, and it's the number one country for cannabis medical sales in all of Europe. It's crazy. And all they do is import. Shipped out Australia's last year, 935 kilograms landed in Germany. However, the amount of cannabis shipped to Germany in 2022 declined by 26% compared to 2021. The United Kingdom was second with 407 kilograms imported from Australia in 2022. Other countries were New Zealand at 167 kilograms and France at 1 kilogram. Australia is also disclosing the total quantity of cannabis inventory. Cannabis inventory in Australia at the end of 2022 was 15,400 kilograms. The country finished 2021 with 17,700 kilograms of inventory. Data for 2023 will not be available until the third quarter of 2024. We've because of this show, we've met friends in Australia now, and that whole country should just be legal, just like Canada, but do it right. Don't waste 3 billion grams of weed.
Yeah, right.
It's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Right, and this is the last show before Christmas. This will be the last show we record, because the next time we record will be like the 27th or something, or 28th. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. But before we end it, Mrs. Weedman is going to tell you how to survive this fucking holiday season with some cannabis.
Yeah, I've got some crucial cannabis hacks for surviving the holiday season. The holidays are filled with family, friends, crowds, bills, and celebrations. The holiday season can be wildly fun. The rituals from Thanksgiving to New Year's mark some of the most important moments in our lives. But all the joy and merriment can come with issues: bills, sluggishness, drama, anxiety, and more. The good news is that cannabis can help with both the celebrations and the stress. So here are crucial cannabis hacks for surviving this holiday season. Have a dedicated supply. You never want to be the person sending frenzied texts on the eve of a big holiday, trying to track down a friend of a friend of a friend who might be able to hook you up. Instead, have a plan. If you don't have a regular supply in your town, be sure to pack some goodies to go for your travels. Preparation is key. Double down on storage options. An important point to remember while staying at home is that you will be in close proximity to family members, friends, and pets who don't necessarily experience the sweet, skunky aroma of quality cannabis on an everyday basis. And that celebratory joint that you're saving in your bag might set off a few olfactory alarms. In order to combat this, invest in the best storage option that's at your disposal to clamp down on the smell. A simple Ziploc bag won't do the trick. Spring for something airtight, because if you don't, you'll be needing to throw open those windows and pray for a strong cross breeze. When in doubt, go for an empty pill bottle, top it with a piece of cotton, and store it near some dryer sheets for added smell protection.
Or in a decades jar.
Yes. Pretty simple, right?
Pretty simple right there.
Be discreet, but not too discreet. There's an art to stepping away from a family function to enjoy a quick hit or two, but one of the greatest joys of these gatherings may be stumbling upon other family members who partake. Sure, you knew cousin Phil would be happy to join you, but 78-year-old Betsy? Oh yeah, she's been doing it since before you were born. So allow yourself to connect with family members. You might have more in common with them than you know. Time your high accordingly, too. There are a number of factors that should go into your decision of when to actually spark up that joint or throw back an edible. Timing is key for making sure the desired outcome is achieved. It's good to know how much to consume and how about your strain. Be intentional, and you will be the most satisfied. Be smart about where you smoke. While you might be completely fine smoking in your front yard where you currently live, traveling to your hometown could be a totally different story. Be smart about how open you are with your cannabis use in a town where you may not know the rules, and there could be an increased police presence because of the holidays. Consider areas that are not open to the public view if possible. And don't leave anything behind. You may be tempted to leave some reserves behind for the next time you're in town, but depending on who else is living in the house, this might not be the best idea. You might get a call from mom or dad wondering, what does THC stand for? So take your stash with
Just
you.
send them to Weedman 420 Chronicles.
Yeah. We'll edumacate them.
Yeah, we will edumacate them. Mrs. Weedman,
Mr. Weedman.
that's the end of the show.
That went too fast. And I'm going to smoke again. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sam for
Thank you,
sponsoring the
Sam.
show. I'd like to thank Mike Straight from Straight A Genetics for the Cherries 2.1
Thanks,
creation.
Mike.
We appreciate you both for this fine joint we're going to finish up here, this doink. I also like to say to everybody, happy holidays. It is right now, December 19th, 2023. All the holidays that happen this month, so many different types of holidays that are celebrated in December. We also have the New Year's coming up. We'll have another show before New Year's. We'll have our New Year's show. But this is a season, I think, for moving forward in life. I think this is the season that we all need to leave the past behind and look at today, right now, and to try to write some goals down to be able to live for you. Start living for you. Life is too fucking short. I'm 51 now. Man, I'm looking back. I looked back a couple weeks ago, and I looked back at like from 20 to 50. Boy, I'm looking back on how much has changed in those years.
Yeah.
Where we're at in life in those years, and like how fast it went.
Yeah.
You don't think it goes fast, but it went fast. Those 30 years were like, bam. You know,
When you look back at it, it's like, wow, that doesn't seem like it's that long ago.
I know.
Right.
But now it's like, whoa, all the Christmases, all the New Year's, all the holidays, all the family get-togethers, all the friends come and gone, but here it is. You can't change the past. You can't live in the past. You can't fucking go back. Memories are great. Fun times, bad times, good times. It's all learning. But 2024 is coming. This whole world has been fucked up, especially through COVID and through fucked up, just everything that's going on right now. It's fucked up. 2024 has to be the year of change for the planet, for all of us, to live with no regrets, because you only live once. We all stuck in a job we don't like. We're all stuck in a fucking job in a world that we got to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week to pay our bills. And then all of a sudden it's Friday and you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week to get 2 days of freedom. And then all of a sudden it's really not freedom, because you got to do your laundry, you got to clean the house, you got to do errands, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. And all of a sudden it's fucking Sunday at fucking 10 o'clock. You're like, what the fuck happened to my weekend? That's every fucking weekend. Hold on while I smoke this joint. So understand that. If you're not living going into 2024 and doing things for you, job's a job, pays the bills, fine. We all need to make money to pay bills. There's no getting away from it. But don't define your life by your career. I'm sorry. Because I had a bunch of friends who just got laid off, and they defined their career, their fucking the last 10 years I knew them, and they all got laid off fucking in the last 2 weeks before Christmas. Right? I mean, I came home this week, man. These guys were like me. They gave their life for their this fucking company, and laid them off like it was nothing. I had one of the guys crying, begging for his job to go back. Why? And you gave up your life for this corporation to turn around to them to just kick those 10 years down the curb. It sucks. because now you got to start over, and you might be 40. You might be 50 starting over. That sucks. And you gave 30 years of job and work and all this fucking shit to not to live your own life. Not to live your own life. Go out there and live. Have some fucking fun. Man, you only got 24 hours in a day. Half of those are you're sleeping 8 hours or 7 hours of those. So really, you don't have 24 hours. You know? Go out there and have some fucking fun. Live. Go out there and explore. Go out there and find something you want to do. Go volunteer. Go fucking go for a hike. Do for you that you've never done before going into 2024, and you will be a happy person. Right, Miss Weedman?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, we love you out there. You got anything to say, Miss Weedman, before we go?
We love you guys. Have a happy holiday season. And like we said, reach out. If you've got no one to turn to and you don't know what else to do, DM us.
Yeah, if you need a hot meal, come by. You know, just DM me.
That's
I'll
right.
Be happy to give you a hot meal or a big fat doink. One or the other, you choose. So, but like I said, go into 2024, positivity, outlook, be happy, smile. It ain't all that bad. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable. 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 Acceptable.